currently party DJ, in particular Caribbean style, right?
Oh, cool.
That being said, I really like turntablism.
Exactly, and it's unexplored in Caribbean in the music. There's so many things you can do with all that.
Well, yeah. So for me now, but I'm not. In the past, I did it for other people. Like me going on this journey with you now, I doing this for me. I get my high of a DJing by being able to use the tools I have in the format which I play, because in the past, my idol DJ would have been Jeff.
Oh yeah, Jazzy Jeff. Yeah, he's one of the illest.
Yeah, but I never liked how he limited himself.
Oh, okay.
I understand why from a branding perspective, but like you, if I could reach, so like I say, in my country, I'm the shark in the water, and it's mostly because of how I think.
So
if I could go to 6 shows and see Jeff play and understand what Jeff doing, by the 7th show, if I playing alongside him, I'm going to sort him, because that's how Caribbean came from, like sound clash.
Exactly.
A lot of those cultures infused.
Exactly, the battles, the original battles.
So we are highly aggressive DJs in execution.
Exactly.
But we are not skilled in the turntablist aspect of DJing.
Exactly, because it's all about the sound level. It's all about exactly. Because the sound systems.
So what? Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it at the West Indian Day.
I'm not a sound clash DJ.
I don't know if you saw at the West Indian Day parade in New York. I posted a TTM video where I saw this guy do this one move that I've never seen anybody do with Caribbean music. He did like maybe the 0 to 1 click flare. It was like duh waka, and he did like kind of a flare, and he might have done it by accident, because you can do things by accident too, but it was ill, and I uploaded it to it's somewhere on the TTM page.
Yeah, because chirps in the Caribbean is a popular scratch.
So yeah, but right, people aren't really chirping. I never hear people, even backspinning or juggling. Because if you went out into a sound clash and started, had the biggest system, and you started like juggling and scratching, people might flip out. Definitely. So yeah, I'm all set up.
16 there is the phenomenon of popping.
Say what?
Alright, so what I have decided, I decided to do today is I don't know, you have like a syllabus or a curriculum?
Different.
Matrix of scratches.
Yeah, different ones. Yeah, like the Matrix is kind of one. I have one from Cartagena I did in Colombia. I'm releasing that out very soon. Turntables 101. I got a course that's coming out. It's just going to be like $100 on what do you call it? Udemy. I don't know if you heard of Udemy, but Udemy is or Udemy. I think people pronounce it Udemy maybe. Like an academy, but Udemy, so it's like you can just go, you can buy different classes and different courses on different subjects, and I'm about to, I already have everything all uploaded, I just haven't released it to the public yet, but it'll be out soon, where you can basically just see the course that I did in Cartagena, Colombia, and there's quizzes and tests and all that type of stuff, like it's multiple choice things you can do online.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. So I'm just all the videos already up, but I'll have the test ready soon. But yeah, what were you saying?
What I want to do is, I already have a certain degree of cutting, but I'm very limited. I understand why I have some of the limitations. I basically want to scrap down what I have and start again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to break down certain things to really start over. So how long have you been DJing?
I've been DJing professionally for about 10 years.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so you're familiar with everything. Okay. And what's your setup today? What?
Yeah, I also.
What's the setup you have right now? Cool. Oh, okay, cool. It's like a rain and a
1261.
some Technics. Cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I want to do is, I don't understand how your system works. Meaning your because I see you have dots on your turntable along the side.
Wait. I'm gonna flip to
I don't understand.
I'm gonna flip the view. So what about the turntable? What about it?
Yeah.
So what about?
Right. So you see you have those stickers on the turntable itself. Or
Uh-huh.
The light kind of blowing it out. I don't know if you can shift the light a little bit. They're shining on it there.
Okay, the stickers, like these stickers, like this or this.
Yeah, those on the left side, not on the record, on the turntable itself.
Oh, right here, like this sticker and that one.
Yeah, that one and the purple and those.
Yeah, these are like not stickers. Yeah, those are marker. No, those are just I have those as marker increments so that I know that, let's say I'm doing a scratch. Let me turn this on. So let's say I'm starting my hand here. I have this here so when some tutorials I can go with the distance and have this is the starting point and this is like the end point and then this is like the middle point. This purple one is the middle point. That's the 50% point, you see? And then this one, this other purple one is like the 25% point. It's kind of rubbed off, that purple one. And then this purple one is the 75% point. So that's between these two. This is just a random distance. This distance doesn't have any real meaning. It's just I made a particular distance and some points between that, just to be able to know. So if you're doing a flare, you know that it's starting here, and then by the time you get here, that's when you turn the crossfader off, and then you end up here, and then you're back. If the scratch is that big.
Right.
So yeah, that's not necessary. But the thing is, it can. Some people like scratching. There's different ways you can look at. Some people like looking at the sound being relative from here to here. From the needle. Looking at the needle. Some people like to use 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is very popular. Some people use 3 o'clock. Some people use 9 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
This is really cool, right? I don't know if I may have told you this, but you see how you have it on the turntable there? I literally started to do that on my cuts. And it sounded totally different.
Oh, wow, okay.
I realized that, because in Trinidad, right? Let me show you this real quick. Let me get a sample up real quick here. Skratch sample. In Trinidad, we do a lot of common and mass scratching. Meaning, because we are inherently party DJs, we tend to do everything with releasing the song on time in mind. If that makes sense to you.
With what in mind? With what?
Releasing the song as in dropping the song on time.
Oh, so yeah, being focused on.
So that's how we end. Yeah. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Timing.
You can see. Can you see? Oh, we ready Facebook video link. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Cool. So you can see that there, right? Oh, that's blue. No. Alright. I need to shift this. 1 second. I just put it on the other side so you can see clearly.
Yeah, totally.
Take off the charger.
Yo, check out this pattern.
Yeah, buddy. Hello.
Let me turn this up. Like right, it's like a Caribbean rhythm. But yeah, what's
that's like a Caribbean rhythm for sure. Alright, so like we scratch. So like we scratch in the same space like this, like right at the tip of the sample.
Yeah, yeah, baby scratch, a rub, or tip. You're going fast.
Right. So all the scratch patterns that we take our liking to tend to be like that. So anything that ends back at the start of the sample is what we into.
Mm-hmm.
This. But we always come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what you do, you have patterns where you can end in the middle of the pattern. So for example,
exactly, yeah, open fader stuff, yeah.
Like, so what I wanted is, no, I could just do that with the straightforward stuff. Like I can do a scratch technique,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know very much scratch patterns.
Oh, okay. So you're looking for patterns.
Scratch and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so
scratch and all that stuff. You came up with those stuff on your own.
Yeah. I design all this stuff. Yeah, I do it in Adobe Illustrator. You know, when I first started, I was doing it in Photoshop. I wasn't even doing it in Illustrator. My first book, called The Fundamentals, I did that in Photoshop. You know, but you know, my second book, I did all the designs in Illustrator, and you know, the Matrix, all that stuff was in Illustrator.
So you actually came up with 900 sketches?
Yeah. Well, no, a lot of it was research of stuff that people have been doing over the years. So maybe, you know, 50 of them had already been named, and then all the other hundreds, I just used the names that already existed. I wasn't trying to make new names when I did it. When I made the Matrix, I wasn't trying to create new names, unless I was forced to, unless it was something that totally had never been done or something. But even if something totally had never been done, I would still call it some name or hybrid of something else that was older. So all the names in there were names. These are all names that, you know, people have been, you know, saying over the past, you know, 30, 40 years before that. Because that was like, what, 2013, you know. So, you know.
That's amazing, bro.
So, you know, but yeah, you want to, you know, get down the core scratches, you know, first. I would say one of the most, you know, I think chirps are probably the one that people recognize the most as far as skill or something, because I think in the battles, if you took away people's chirps, that would be the most, you know, people wouldn't, I don't, you know, people would hate to lose their chirps. So do you know how to do a chirp?
Yeah, I can do a chirp.
Okay, so do a chirp.
Alright, so well, before we continue, start me from the ground in Skratch and come straight up, like I'm removing everything.
Alright?
As I said,
yeah. So yeah, let's start. Yeah, we can start from the basics. So you know, you got your this. I would say let's turn on a beat. You want to turn on a beat.
You want me? I mean, what? Sorry.
But actually, no, you don't have to turn on a beat, because I mean, I think the best practice is without a beat at first. So yeah, so let's start out with so try a chirp scratch. So exactly. So now do chirp scratches continuously. All right. Now, how fast can you go? Can you go faster?
All right, yes, sir.
And then when you go slower and faster, can you modulate between those two? Because sometimes people will have like two speeds, like, oh, I got my fast speed, my slow speed, but can you go in between your fastest and slowest? Can you go from your slowest all the way up to your fastest, or so try that. So yeah, try to start off slow and then go faster, but keep it continuously looping.
So you mean like single time, double time, triple time?
And also what's going to help you too is to your wrist. I noticed, so I'm going to show you how, because see, if you move your whole arm like this, what's going to happen is you're going to have to move, you're using the muscles in your arm to make the sounds instead of the muscles in your hand. You don't want to be using your arm, you want to be using your hand. Like this, so so even if you're doing multiple fingers, or if you're, so let me back this up a little. Yeah. So basically, you want to see if you can make sure that your wrist is always moving. You want to use your wrist.
All right.
And not because you don't want your hand because see a lot of DJs you'll see them do this like. You see them move like that, where they're just moving their whole arm as one thing, but your arm can't move as fast as your wrist and your fingers.
Right.
But you're doing fine. You're doing fine because you're using it you're using your wrist. You're using your wrist. Just as long as you're using your wrist. Yeah, because you don't want your arm moving too much. Yeah. Your arm shouldn't really be moving. It should just, Exactly. Right. Cool. So keep those chirps going. Keep those chirps going. Great. Now, so let's try another scratch now. Try a flare.
Which one?
Can you do a flare, a one-click flare?
Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect. So now do the same thing where you just keep it looping over and over, but then you slowly start speeding up. Go slower this time as far as speeding up.
Okay.
Great. You've been practicing for real. That's dope. Only probably there's probably as far as a flare scratch, probably only less than 10,000 people in the world could probably do that. Well, as far as DJing, probably less than 2,000. There's probably only maybe 5,000 people in the world that could do that. Maybe, even though a lot of people have heard about it and seen it, but less can do it. Yeah. Most people can't. Most DJs can't really scratch. They can only do a couple scratches. Yeah. So you got that down. Now, can you do a chirp flare or a flare chirp? So try to do those. Try to do them next to each other. Try to do them next to each other. So try a chirp and then a flare. Good. Yeah, and that's one of the most, when you see people in scratch battles and stuff like that, everybody's doing chirp flares because that's a way you can go real fast and it's like a cross rhythm. So it's good to learn. So it's good to learn. So you're at the level where you can start learning like cross rhythms and stuff. So you can use that chirp flare as a cross rhythm. So you can go. So try this right here. So wait. Try this right here. Let me see. Let me see if I put this right here. Oh wait, let me make the thing shoot the other way. All right. goes. Yeah, you should be able to see it. There we go. So now try this. Try basically like this. Try so you're just doing. You're doing that, but now try this. Try this. Try try this. Try this. Okay, so try. Now see if you can just do that. See if you can just do just a chirp flare at a little bit faster of a speed. Just keeping the rhythm going. So so how fast can you go with the chirp flare?
All right. Yeah, I don't think I could go as fast as you do.
That's great. That's great. Now try this. So this is what's next. Okay. So now we're gonna do modulation. Now you're gonna start off at a lower pitch, and you're gonna raise the pitch, but stay the same speed like this. And this is a cool thing that you can do, especially if you're bringing a track in, or you're cutting up some soca or some type of Caribbean type of music, and you're cutting up the vocals. You can do this. So you're gonna modulate the pitch. So we're gonna do that same chirp flare at a low pitch, and then we're gonna raise it to a higher pitch. So like this. So. Like that. So you're starting off low. So start off low and loop it low, and then you're gonna crescendo up. You're gonna get louder and louder. So you're gonna use more and more of a distance. And that's why I had these distance things here too, like how you're asking about. You can see that in time, you're going more of a distance. You're doing the same scratch, but I was going a farther distance.
Alright, cool. I'll do that now.
So yeah, try that now. All right, and that's great. That's great. Now try to go up and down, low and high like this. So start off low, then go high. So like this. So. So like try that. So low to high, low to high. That's what I was just doing. Low to high. So go to a climax and then release it and then do the same pattern again but lower. So okay, so I'm gonna do it longer, so okay, like that. So all right, but first do it like this. Just merge them together. Try this at first. Okay, so like something like that. So try that where I was using like four general distances, four general pitches, but you can use as many pitches as you want. But just try that where you go to different ranges and you stop there. Cause see, you can do a continuous. You can do one that's going up, but you can also do one at levels too. Cause I was just doing that last time I did it at levels. Whereas like I'm staying at one pitch.
Okay.
So try that where you're staying at one pitch like this. So and that's where this can help. This can come in handy because in this I'm only gonna I'm only gonna do it for. So I'm gonna go. Whoops. So try that.
Alright. So I'm going to do low to high, and then high to low, and then try levels after, right?
No, try levels right now. Just try the different levels, yeah. Like being able to hold it at different levels, control different pitches.
I have a question before start. I noticed you put your platter hand all the way like back here. Is there a reason for that?
No, but it gives me more space to do a longer scratch. Like if I'm doing a scratch where, if I'm doing a scratch like this, where if I'm doing a scratch and I'm like, yeah, scratching is fine right here, but if I want to go really far, I might hit this. So if I'm all the way over here and I'm scratching, and if I want to go like there, I can go really far, especially if it's a long sound like. Let me see, I can go really far.
Okay, I understand.
I can just go far in a short amount of time. So I can go like this. Okay, yeah, so try that. Good. 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 Perfect. Okay. So now try just general modulation like this. And let's do it with the flare first. Let's do it with the flare. So try, this is just a flare. Okay, so just try that upwards and downwards crescendo, but with just a flare.
Okay.
Because any scratch, you should be able to do that with any scratch.
Okay.
Now see if you can go back down. See, that time you were kind of doing levels. You were kind of doing pitch levels. You're doing different, flat pitch levels at first. But see if you can not do the pitch level one. But we'll do that next, where you hold a pitch. But this one, try to constantly modulate the pitch, so the pitch is so it's more of a climax, like in a progressive trance song, like a build up, So it's more like this. So it's like boom. Like when a dance track is like dum 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 dum, So more like. You know, so it's one. So it's one long build up. So yeah. So you see what I'm saying. But at the same speed. So make sure that even though you're changing the pitch, it's going to be the same speed. Even though you're changing the pitch, it's going to be the same speed generally. Since we don't have a beat on.
Okay.
That's great. Great. That was great. That's great. That's great. So you're doing those really fast. See if you can do it a little bit longer. So that was great because you're going. That's what you were doing. That's great. See if you can do it longer though, a longer build up, more like a trance song or like a like a techno song, like. Try that. Just a longer build up. Yeah, like a longer build up. Yeah, see, you got to keep going. See, by the time you get to the end, you got to keep going even farther and farther with the record. That's why, having a lot of space is helps a lot. And then also, pacing yourself at first, that you're starting off real at a really small angle at first, because then you can, start off with the lower pitch, because then you don't have to go as far at the end,
Okay, all right. Let me try that.
Yeah, so start with the low pitch. Great, perfect. That's great. That's great. Yeah, that was perfect. That's great. Great, excellent. Now try that with the chirp. Try that with the good. Now try that with the chirp. So try. So try that. Try a chirp. Right? That's cool, right? That's what I'm saying. So you got it. You got it. You got it. Exactly. Exactly.
Trinidad.
Exactly. So imagine you can take that. You can do that with a million different things. Whether it's a stab or whether it's it's easier with continuous scratches where you can continuously hear it. So you hear how it kind of modulates up and down. And so yeah. So let me switch it so you can. So yeah. So basically, you can do that with any scratch, and then you can do that with the whole beat too. Like if you're about to bring in the beat. That's a great way to bring in the beat, because I'm most of the time these days, I'm sure with the sound clashes, people are more concerned with like the selection and things being on beat, like you're saying. If you're able to do that, if you were to take somebody's voice, like if you take somebody's voice that's in a song and you got that acapella and you did that same thing where it's like. People be like, oh, they might freak out. And you're doing some crazy technique like a flare with it is even next level, And so that's kind of a combo within itself. Just just the different types of modulations. Yeah, so there's step modulation, there's continuously going up modulation, you know. So what we were just doing is this. So let me I'll get something to draw on. I'll get this. Let me let's see. So what we were just doing was this. I got a piece of paper. So what we were just doing was this. We did this flare, and it was like this. So a flare like this, where it's like.
What is the
So see, so it's like this. So it's like this. You see? This is what you were just doing. You see? Like that. So it's going waka 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 waka. So you have to keep going a farther distance, but you see it's still the same speed, because the speed is basically the distance between each of these. You know, this is the speed of it. You know, the speed is down there. So yeah, so you're going like that, and then the other one, the step ones, when we were talking about steps, was more like you're just doing flares at a certain size at first. I'm gonna do 3. I'm gonna do 4. And then at a higher level, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a higher level, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Like that. You see, then a higher level, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. You see? So that's the difference between the step style, like it's like dava 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 dava, you know, versus, you know, and then if you add the you know, the flares in there, I'll make these flares, add these dots there. It's the same thing. Exactly, you could do it with the baby scratch, you could do it with the flare, you could do it with anything. So yeah, this is. And a lot of DJs, you'd be surprised. A lot of DJs, they're at high levels and they can only scratch the same pitch. They don't know how to do this trick. They can't modulate their scratches. And this gives you more expressive scratching, because then you can say, hey, I'm going to do this flare, but this flare is going to be a lower pitch than this other one, or I'm going to do that. And you can, right. That's if you're, doing a solo scratch type of thing, you want to get real expressive. But if you want to use it for a crowd effect, this is great, because, you can use that, so basically that's what it's looking like.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I've always heard about modulation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only reason why I was able to achieve what we did there, because I usually don't scratch in this range here.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, super high. Yeah, super high. Yeah. No, and you don't have to, because you can start out super, super low. You can start out super, super low, especially,
No, what? What helped me learn it was me paying attention to those dots on the side. So, like, in my brain, even though I don't have these stickers, or like I'm mentally picturing it now.
Exactly. And yeah, it's in situations like that. Exactly. It's in situations like that where you can see where those dots can help. Because you can be like, hey, well, I'm going to make my hand go from here to here, then I'm going to make my hand go from here to here, and my hand is going to go from here to here. And obviously you can do that with just your ear, but it's just like having a bass guitar and having, frets on it is a lot easier than not having frets on it. Because, learning to play a fretless instrument is very difficult. You have to memorize where to put your fingers,
Right.
Exactly.
Can you explain to me how to read the notation? Your TTM notation, how to read it?
Okay, so how to read it. So yeah. So if you don't know already, so let's do a quick refresher. So this is I'm gonna write, this was so this is called first of all, when we were talking about this type of increase, this is called amplitude. This is amplitude, like when you hear AM radio.
Yeah.
So that's called amplitude. So amplitude. So that's amplitude. And amplitude is when a wave is getting taller. So right now, today, we've been focused on amplitude modulation. Now, when you hear FM radio, frequency modulation is different. FM, I'll teach you what FM. So FM, that's frequency modulation, and frequency modulation is more like this. It's more like if you have, I'm gonna have the same amplitude, right? But I'm gonna make the frequency get bigger and bigger, like that. So and I'm gonna make it get smaller here.
Okay.
All right, like that. So this is frequency modulation. Right? So frequency modulation is you're starting out smaller, right? It's like that. You're starting out small. So this is like this is like that's frequency modulation, you know? And amplitude modulation is what we're doing, just going, it's like,
Can you do that?
yeah, like that, like that's like if I was going, so if I was going fast, and I'm just like, that's that. So I'm going the same distance. I'm not changing the distance, I'm just changing how fast, I'm changing the time. The time is getting slower. So when we say frequency is time. So the way that TTM works, that was more advanced stuff because we were doing advanced scratches. The way that TTM works is so here's a let me get another pin because that marker just died for some reason. I'll get this right here. So the way this works is, so here's this. So we have so this is time. And this is the degrees. People use this symbol theta, which is like a circle with a a wavy line through it. A circle with a wavy line through it. So yeah, people use that. That's called theta, and you know, like the Greek symbol. So that's just the degrees of the record. So this is the degrees. And then time. So it's the degrees of the record over time. So it's the change in degrees. So if this is 0 degrees and this is 90 degrees, let's say that's the range. That's 0 degrees, that's 90 degrees. Then if you're going back and forth and you're doing a baby scratch, you're going like that. And this white symbol I'm drawing is an open fader symbol. That's just to show that you have the crossfader open, and it's also easier to attach waves to each other if you're dealing with a bunch of waves. So you see it's going from 0 to 90, back to 0, back to 90, back to 0. So that'd be the equivalent of this. Let me put the top back on this. I don't know where the top for the other one is. So that'd be the equivalent of going from like this. So it's going like, so let's say this is 0. This is 0 right here, and then this is 90, right? So this is 0. This is about 90, maybe right there. So it's like just going. Right? So that's what that is. It's saying that you're going forward and backwards. So when you were doing the flare scratch, you were putting a click. You were putting a click right here at the middle. You were putting, because you've been practicing a lot, because that's hard what you're doing. What you're doing is really high level stuff. That's very advanced. You're very advanced. Because some people have been DJing for 10 years and they're not as advanced as you. You've obviously been practicing your scratching. But a lot of times most DJs that really get gigs, they stop learning how to scratch because it's just like a job to them. They don't really care anymore. But so yeah, so you were doing this. Those are, you know, so those are flares, right? And I can draw another open fader symbol right here.
Right.
Right. Just to show that it's not a click. So that's so it's a click in the middle of the forward direction and a click in the middle direction, another click in the middle of that direction and a click of there. So if this is 90 degrees, that means you're going to be clicking at 45 degrees. You see that? Because that's the middle. So when you're doing a flare, if you're doing a flare from here to here, like 90 degrees, like a right angle, then you're probably going to be clicking in the middle, and the middle is going to be kind of where it's going to be 45 degrees. So basically the way it works is, so what?
From the marker on your record, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go on your record side, like over on the turntable.
Okay.
The actual physical marker on your record. It will travel at is it like a 90-degree angle?
The actual one, this one right here. No, this isn't a 90-degree angle. This is just where the beats are.
But from that point forward, 90-degree angle is where I'm traveling.
Okay, yeah, from that point, yeah, you can look at it as that, yeah. So let's say, yeah, that's the beginning, and then 90 degrees is there, right, and then back. Right, so then, right, so it's like...
So most scratches really between 0 and 90.
Probably a little bit more, maybe 0 and 120, maybe a third of the record people are using. People using like this region maybe, A lot of times people aren't doing super long scratches, It's only people that are really trying to like do high pitch stuff. Do they go, are you going to go 120 degrees? But if you're doing a transform or something that's like a longer scratch, then you might go beyond 100. You might go 360 degrees. You might want to, you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody's doing a long scratch. Like a transform.
Right.
Like if you're like if you're doing a transform or something, So yeah, that's basically the way that works. So that's a forward. That's going forward. Now this, if something's going down like this, I'm gonna draw another graph. If something's going down, this would be a reverse stab. Can you do that? Or like a reverse cut?
Yeah, I can do a reverse cut. I'm not very strong in it, and I know I need to get strong in it. 1 second, I'm just getting that.
And the thing about, and whenever you have a black symbol at the end of a line, that's kind of, you can put it there, but you don't have to put it there. That's just so you can kind of see where the directions is starting from. Like it's starting from the black point and going outwards, I mean, going the other direction. So it makes it easier, so it's not just a line floating in space. Having the point there kind of locks it in. Exactly, backwards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, you can read it. Exactly. Yeah, so that's not. Yeah, you're literate in TTM. Yeah. So then the chirp, when we were doing before, those chirps we were practicing those like modulation chirps. That was kind of like this. Let me see. That was more like. Let's see.
So it'll be going up and
exactly.
That'll be going up in amplitude.
Exactly. I'm gonna draw a dot on the top of all these. Exactly, increasing the amplitude. Exactly, the amplitude and pitch are the same thing. So like that. So those are the chirps. That's like that. So you notice how where you click is always going to change. The degrees of the clicking is going to change. Where the actual, like when the crossfader actually hits, where your hand is in the record is going to change when you're doing that because it's always going to be different, a different distance.
Right. So amplitude takes precedent to create the sound.
Oh no, amplitude is just an accident. I mean, an accent. Amplitude is just an accent. Like if you want an accent, most people don't even really focus on amplitude.
Right.
Most people are just trying to execute a scratch in general. Usually at just some like normal speed or something. Same with rapping. Like if you think about I don't know if you know Gangstar, like Guru, he has a monotone voice. Most people scratch monotone where it's like but then even the stab is not monotone because the stab is kind of an accent where it's like tick, it's like tick tick because the forward, exactly, the stab is always a higher pitch. That's what makes it a stab. A stab is a higher pitch and a drag is a lower pitch. So if you're going lower pitch, it's a drag, and a higher pitch is a stab. Exactly. So,
Right.
so yeah, so I got a
So
matrix right
I
here.
want you to test me on this.
So these are the stabs and the drags, like right over here. But so you're saying test what?
You know, I want you to test me on this. So
Okay, yeah.
draw a random.
Okay, so now try this though. Now I want you to try this new Skratch because you know the chirp and the flare, and you can do a chirp flare. Now I want to see if you can do a Kermit because a Kermit is like a chirp flare, but it has an extra chirp. It's basically two chirps and a flare, so it goes duffa duffa waka waka duffa duffa waka waka, and I'll draw that. A Kermit's like this. So a Kermit looks like this. Let's see. A Kermit's like it's like that. It's like duffa, duffa, and then the flare is twice as long as the chirps. So the chirps are twice as fast as the flare. So it's like that. All right, and that's called a Kermit. Exactly, yeah. And see how fast you can go. So watch. So I'm gonna show you. So you can that one can go. You can go pretty fast with all these. So, whoops. Let me move this. Oh wait. Let me make it. Let me turn this around the other way. So you can see you can keep it going, and it's almost like a drum and bass kind of song, but. All right. So yeah, try that. See it? Oh, what?
You had to turn back the camera and do it over because I wasn't seeing your hands. I was seeing in the other room.
Oh, it was the other way? Yeah. I'll do it again, yeah. So let me see. I had it on the wrong one? Yeah, let me see. So this is the way. Like that, right? You can see?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. So. So it's like that.
Alright.
See?
That's one, right?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, you got it.
So how... Alright, so there is pitch modulation.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's moving faster at the same pitch.
Exactly. So, you can keep your speed, the frequency of your scratching, the frequency of your waves, you can keep that speed the same, but you can increase the amplitude, increase how far you go in the same amount of time, the distance. Or you can, you can do frequency modulation like the other way, you're slowing things down. But you can also do both. You can do frequency and amplitude. You can slow it down and raise the pitch, or slow it down and lower the pitch. Exactly. So if you mix all those in together, try all those now. Try chirps, chirp flares. Try chirps, flares, Chirp-Flares, and Kermits, and mix them in different ways. So I'm going to give you an example. So I just did those 4 different scratches. Really, it's just 2 different scratches, but mixed up in a bunch of different ways. Cause like,
right. So
yeah,
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send a message to myself. Actually,
yeah. So can you do a 2-click? Can you do any 2-click flares? Can you do a 2-click flare? Okay. Go. Great. So you got that one. So you got that one. Now we're gonna try another one. This is another combo that's a 2-click. So you got that one. That's a triplet 2-click. That's the standard one that when people can do 2 clicks, it's usually that one. That's the one you're gonna always hear. But a small amount of people in the world, maybe it's only 20 people in the world that I ever see do this. And this is a variation of the 2-click, and I'll show you how to do it. So the one you were just doing is like this. Let's see. I'm gonna flip this. So the one you were just doing was like this. It was like this. It was like forward and backwards, right? Like that. And then it's a click here and a click here. And all 3 of these sounds, there's a sound here, a sound here, and a sound here. These all the sounds are the same length, right? So it's like what-da-da, 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 what-da-da. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know, so it's 1, 2, 3 sounds and 1, 2, 3 sounds, and all the sounds are the same length, right?
Right.
It's like what-da-da, 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 right?
I get that. I've been trying to change it further.
There's another one though. There's a bunch of 2-click variations. Here's a new one I'll show you, and this one is different. The clicks are closer to the beginning and ending points, and it looks more like this. Right? They look very similar, all right? But this one, the clicks are at the 33% point and the 66% point, right? Of the forward motion.
Right.
Right? It's cutting into perfect 3s, right? But on this one, it's at 25% and 75%. So it's going to sound just like a flare, because that's how flares are. Flares are on the 25% or the 50%. So it's going to sound like a flare that's going twice. So this is what it sounds like. So I'll show you both. So this is the one that you were just doing. Right? That's what you were just doing. But you can do this one. It sounds different. So it sounds like a flare, right? It sounds like a
like a regular
Yeah, it sounds like I'm going. Because the clicking is the same. That's why it sounds the same. The clicking is continuous clicking. So flares are continuous clicking. Chirps are continuous clicking. And you can even make that a 4-click. If you keep going, you can go. See, I was doing 4 clicks, and I was doing continuous clicking. So, right, yeah. So, right, yeah. So yeah, we'll do those too. We'll do 4 clicks too. So try that. Try that type of 2-click. That 2-click is gonna sound like wooka 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 wooka. I'll show it to you again. So it's going. So remember, your crossfader hand is going to be clicking continuously, because with the other one it wasn't continuous. It was more like bursts. It's like 1 2 3 1 2 3. You know, it's like da 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 da. You know.
Isn't that like 2 1-click flares in one direction?
Yeah, exactly. It's like your crossfader hand's doing the exact same thing that you were doing. Your crossfader hand is exactly the same as a flare, but yeah, it's like 2 in 1. It's like, yeah, it just has that. Yeah, exactly. So try that. So it's gonna be it's this one right here.
The other person who you said, there's only like 2 people that do that in the world.
No. I mean, people that I'm sure people can do it, but as far as people, when I see people doing it, there's this guy named Stonic who's real sick. I see him doing it. Let me flip this back. This guy named Stonic, he makes these really sick videos. He does it. You know, Kubrick can obviously do it. You know, D Styles can do it, but you know, most tablists can only do the one that you're doing. And there's a bunch of different variations of it. I got a video that has all the variations. So remember, so start off super slow. It should sound just like a flare. It should sound like wooka 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 wooka. Yep, exactly. Exactly, that's it. Wooka 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 wooka. Yeah, it sounds different, right? It's very different. Exactly, you're getting it. It's wooka wooka wooka. Exactly. You just got it. So you got it now. You just got to increase your speed now. Yeah, you just got to practice on that speed. Exactly. You got it. That's perfect. I mean, you know, that's great. You're just starting off on that. Because I was doing that. I was doing that Skratch in like 99, 98. So I've been doing that for, you know, over 20 years, or maybe about 20. Actually, yeah, about exactly 20 years. Maybe I was doing it in 98. I don't know if I was, but definitely 99. I recorded myself doing it in 99. But, so yeah, so you got that one. Now, I was showing you that 4-click thing. Huh? Say what? Yeah. So now we're going to do a 4-click on the one that you know. The one that you know. The same way that you can extend a flare out twice, and to make that 2-click variation that we just did, you can do the same thing with the 2-click and extend that out twice to make a 4-click. So I'm going to do that right now. So this is going to be a 4-click. So this is the variation that you're doing. So that's just a regular, triplet kind of 2-click that you were doing. It makes a triplet sound like what-da-da, 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 But now if I extend that out twice, I can turn that into a 4-click, like so. So you see what I was doing? So this was staying the same. It's just like if you're doing that orbit, that 2-click flare that you're doing, but my hand movement is just going twice as long. Instead of coming back, instead of being like, I'm going. All right, like that. So try that. Exactly, you got it. Exactly. Exactly. Uh-huh. Yep, the 2-click. Exactly. So I call that an even 2-click. So that was an even 2-click. Yeah. So you got the even 2-click, and you got the the regular 2-click you were doing, and you got the 4-click. You got the triplet 4-click. So it's like what-da-da, 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 what-da-da. So you got that one. Now try the 4-click. Let me plug this phone in so it doesn't die. Let me see. Maybe this. I can use this. I just gotta plug this phone in 1 second. Okay, so. Whoops. The wrong port. Let's see. What? This isn't even the right. Oh, yeah, I don't have an iPhone anymore. That's so funny. I used to have an iPhone. I was trying to plug this iPhone cord. Okay. So yeah, I'm plugged in. So now we're gonna do another type of 4-click, and it's gonna be the one that you just learned, that 2-click, but times 2. But you got to remember is that you with these type of ones, these really long clicking ones, these really long sounds, it's almost better to have something that's higher pitch, because you're gonna have to lower the pitch to stretch it out that long. To stretch something out to be able to put 4 clicks in it. If it was already a super bassy sound, you're not going to hear anything. Like a kick drum, you might not hear anything. But a snare drum, you would hear it, or something that's loud, you would hear it. So it's going to work better with like louder noises or a chorus or something that's loud. So I'm going to do that. So let me see. All right. So I'm gonna unplug this for a second, just so it can be here. So all right, I'm gonna do that right now. So it's gonna go. So before I was going. So that's the one that you were just doing, the one I just taught you, that 4-click. But this one is different. So this one is that even 2-click. That's like it'll sound like a flare, but just it's gonna keep going. So. And you can even join those together. You could be like. So you see that? You plug this in.
So that, to me, that sounded like 4 one-click flares in either direction.
So at first I was doing. Let me turn this back. So yeah, at first I was doing the new 4-click one that you didn't do yet. Then I started mixing them up. I started doing on the forward motion. I was doing the 1 4-click, and then on the backwards motion, I was doing the triplet 4-click. I was doing a hybrid, which was super complex. That's super hard to do. But just try that one first. Yeah, so it's just going to be 4 clicks in the forward direction and 4, but it's even clicks. So remember, your crossfaders are always going to be continuously moving. It's never going to be any like seconds where you stop or. So it's going to sound like this. It's going to sound like woko go 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 woko go 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 woko go 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 woko go 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 woko go go. So I'll do it again. I'll do the sound again so you can hear it. Whoops, I'll turn it up. So it sounds like that. So you're going too far away. Stop. You got to give yourself more. You got to go at a lower pitch so you can have more time to do it, because you're already at the end of your sample by the time you haven't even gotten to the 4th click yet. So you want to go a lot slower.
Okay.
And yeah, you got to turn the volume up. Exactly. Oh, you're doing a 3-click. You're doing another one. So that's a 3-click hybrid. I'll do that one right now. You were doing this. Let me see. Wait, let me. You were doing this right here. This is what you were doing. You were doing like this. You were doing this. That's a 3-click. That's an even 3-click. So it's that same kind of style. That's like a flare, but it's in 3-click. So you did 3 clicks. That wasn't a full 4. So you got to add a whole another 4 in there, a whole another click in there. But that one's a one to do too. But that one's kind of harder. That's a little bit more advanced, because that's another time signature.
So what I'm doing is I'm actually doing. Tell me if I'm doing this wrong. What I'm thinking is I'm doing 4 one-click flares in one direction. That's
exactly. It's just like that. Yeah, the hand movement is the exact same. Yeah. Just 4 clicks. I mean, not 4 clicks, but 8. I mean, 4 clicks. Yeah.
So like for me, it's like this.
Well, it's gonna sound a lot different. The 4-click sounds a lot different than the even 2-click. Yeah, exactly. Waka 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 waka. Yeah, you can make it sound like that. So yeah, it can sound like waka 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 waka. Exactly. 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 No, you got it. It's like waka 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 waka. Exactly. You got it. That was it. You got it.
So
good.
What I want to know from you is how do you maintain consistency on the platter side of the movement?
The consistency is just through practice.
Your record hand control. Okay.
Yeah. So what do you mean? How do I make? You talking about with that particular Skratch, with the 4-click, the even 4-click?
No, I've noticed for all the scratches we did, you have freakishly accurate record hand control.
Oh, okay.
Relative to pitch and amplitude. So is it you do modulation exercises on every scratch?
No, I think it's that it's like, riding a bicycle. If somebody it's like once you learn to ride a bicycle, if somebody gives you another bicycle, you don't have to relearn. You already know how to ride a bicycle, even if it's another bicycle. So even if it's another scratch, you can apply some things, not everything. But if you can do it with the baby scratch, so like if you can do, since the baby scratch is inside of every other scratch, then you can basically do that same modulation stuff to any scratch. Once you learn the scratch, because if you don't know a scratch well enough, then it's hard to kind of tweak it and.
Yeah, because like in the middle of the sample, the sound of the sample changes relative to how fast your hand moving, because both samples, the start of the sample, space point. So how do you maintain getting? Because I've seen videos where you do this. You maintain sound and volume in the middle of a sample. So like, how do you do that? So like on fresh is like here. It's the loudest point, but like here, when it gets softer, how do you maintain still hearing the click of the flare that we
I see what you're saying. Well, it depends on the sound that you're using, because if you're using a sound that's, then you got to use the meat of the sound, kind of like the loudest parts of the sound. But if you're using a sound, like especially like a drum sound, yeah, exactly. Like if you're using a kick and a snare, you're not going to even hear that. Like, for example, I'll do that same 4-click, but with the kick and the snare, like real quick. And you probably couldn't even hear that, right? You couldn't hear it, right? It was so bassy. Yeah, so bassy you can't even hear it, because I did it with the kick and the snare, and there's a lot of empty space between the kick and the snare. So, I mean, a lot of that comes with practice, but everybody has their own style though too. It's just like everybody's voice. We could all sing the same notes, but people's hand movements, have different feels. Some people press down harder on the record than others. I tend to press down really hard, but also people have different size hands. And what's interesting too is that, as like you were bringing up before we started recording, you're talking about Black American DJs, and like my friend John Swan. We're both from Milwaukee, and we both he's got big. His hands are like inch longer than mine. His hands are really big. My hands are bigger than the average, maybe European or Asian DJ. As Black Americans, we tend to have a little bit bigger hands. So, that it can affect our style. Like certain things, we have to do that in a different way. So, like even like, let's say like scribbling, I notice for me, it's easier to scribble when I'm like this. I'll scribble more like this. It's easier for me to have my hand kind of going up like that vertically when I'm trying to scribble than to scribble like this. It's easier for me to go and have it taller than to be like that, So yeah, I mean, there's everybody has their own unique style. So that's what I'm saying. Like if somebody's a tall DJ, their style is gonna be faster, because if somebody has super long fingers and they can move from one point to the other and quicker, it'll sound a lot different. And also if you're scratching on a 7-inch, if you're scratching on a 12-inch record versus like a 7-inch, a 7-inch is going to sound different. Because you don't have as much arc length, like on the length of the record is much shorter. It's kind of like scratching in the middle of the record versus scratching on the outer rim of the record. The outer rim, you're going to have more flexibility.
Yeah.
And also, height, taller DJs, different things. But what I do notice is that it does seem like shorter people can go faster. Like all these kid DJs, like with juggling stuff, but not necessarily scratching. Exactly, you got it. So I'll teach you another scratch that's called a tangent.
No, my problem was I scratch on the inside of the record.
Oh, yeah. If you scratch more on the outer rim, exactly. If you scratch on the inside of the record, it's like scratching a 7. Oh yeah, exactly. It's gonna totally that'll totally affect your style. If you're scratching on the inner rim, it's gonna make it like you're scratching a 7-inch record. And people that scratch 7 inches are dope, but a lot of times their style is limited. It kind of limits you to like chirps. You can't go a long distance when it's short. Like that scratch that I just taught you, those 4 clicks. It's hard to do a 4 click if you have if you're just using a real small distance. Yeah, but no. What you can also do too is this. This is called if you put a pause right after each of those after each click, that's called a tangent. And a tangent is when you're doing a orbit, but you're doing pauses after every click. So you're doing orbit, you're doing clicks and pauses, and you can do that to accentuate what you're doing. Exactly like that, yeah, because you were already kind of doing it when you were kind of making it accentuate the 4 click a little bit more, because when you have all those 4 clicks together and they're even like that, exactly, it's gonna sound like this. So So wait, it's gonna sound like this. So I'm gonna show you that with the pauses. So whoops, let me turn this up. So even with that first one I showed you can do the same thing. So here's that 2 click. So if you're going fast with it, it sounds like you're adding another click. It sounds like this is with no accent. This is with no accent. So you see the other one is real choppy. When you add those pauses, it makes it more choppy.
Yeah, but that no accent. This one. I like that one.
Exactly. Yeah, that 2 click. I call that an even 2 click. Yeah, most people can't do that. I've only seen a couple people do that, literally on video.
Yeah, but how do you get yours to sound like that?
I've been doing that for 20 years.
Like yours just keep a constant tone going and coming.
I mean, it's just about doing it exactly in the same spots to get the consistent sound. But start off slower. So it's waka 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 waka. Exactly, you're getting it, yeah. Exactly, you got it. But see, it's also like this too. It's like we're both speaking English, but we both have totally different accents. So even if you do the same scratch, one DJ is gonna, the way you do that scratch, you might have a little bit different of an accent than me. You might pull it back a little bit faster, or your wave looks a little bit different.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
Exactly. Exactly, you got it. Exactly, you got all these new concepts. Exactly. You got your 4-click. That wooka 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 wooka. Now try the other 4-click. Try the triplet 4-click. The what-a-da, 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 what-a-da. Try the triplet one. You did like a 6-click. You might have done a 6-click. That's the thing. If you make a mistake, you might do a 6-click. It's 9-click. I mean, a 6-click or an 8-click. Yeah, you're going what-a-da, what-a-da. You're going what-a-da, what-a-da, what-a-da. What-a-da. You're doing an 8-click. You did an 8-click. You did what-a-da, 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 what-a-da. I was saying just do a 4-click, but because you're right, because you're so used to doing those that other type of 4-click is a lot, it's kind of a slower kind of one, and so you're going twice the speed. You're going double time. So try the this one. Try this one. So try this one. Try this. Try this one. This one right here. Try. Let's see.
Hey, I turn the camera. Turn the camera.
So this one right here. So. It's really about the record hand that's the hardest part, because the clicking hand is going to click on its own. You can do the clicking pattern because you know how to do the orbit. So it's just about training your brain to.
What did you just do?
Huh? What was that? What?
What did you just do?
Oh, I was doing the first 4-click that you did.
What did you just do?
That was the first 4-click that you were doing, and then sometimes I was doing a 2-click. The first 2-click that you showed me when I said do a 2-click. So a triplet 2-click. And a triplet 4-click. So a triplet 4-click. So first I'll do that. I'll do it again. So the triplet 2-click and a triplet 4-click.
Oh, so it's like this.
Yeah, exactly. You just moving your scratching hand twice as long. The record hand is just going twice the normal distance. So you can just think it as you're doubling up your record. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. You got them. See.
Spent a lot of time trying to figure out how you achieve that. So.
Yeah. See, a lot of these are just once you have these building blocks, then you can build on top, and then you can extend them, and you can tweak the building blocks. So a new realm of scratching that I've been working on that most people in the world can't do. That this guy named Chinmachine. Also, it's kind of like a version of the butterfly. This guy named Tiger Style out of the UK, but Chinmachine from Russia, he made this scratch kind of like this, where it's like. So it's like an orbit. It's a fast baby in front like that, and then the same thing backwards, and then whoops. Try that. So that's a Chinmachine that's going. It's like divot with the divot with the divot with the. No, wait, try it slow at first. So it's going. So you're just going. You're going divot and then what the. So divot and then what the. Wait, let me see the camera so I can see your hand. So I can see the platter. I can't see the platter. I can only see the crossfader a little bit. Yeah. Uh-huh. Exactly. Yeah, you're getting it. Yeah. Double what the double what the double what the. So it's a baby and then what the and then baby or reverse baby and then what the on the way back. So wait, do the baby first. So it should be. So do that first. Yeah, you could, yeah. I'll show you a one-click version of that. Yeah, I just did that in a tutorial. I'll show that to you. That sounds like this. That same scratch, it's like. Perfect, you get it. Exactly. Divot what the divot what the. Now can you do a 3-click? Can you do a 3-click orbit? Or a 3-click flare? So it should be so there's two types. There's two major types of 3-clicks. There's the one like this that sounds like what the what the. So that sounds like this. This is a regular 3-click. Like this. So that's a 3-click. That's a 3-click that all the sounds are even, where it sounds like what the.
Yeah, I can do that one.
Try it. Perfect. Yeah, you got it. Perfect. That was great. That's perfect. So now try the Chinmachine thing where you add that baby scratch in the front of it, and you're gonna go divot what the divot what the. So it'll sound like this. That one's like probably only 10 people in the world can do that. No, you were getting it. You were getting it. Wait, try to your hands back at the center of the platter. Try to do this. Try to move your scratching. Try to move your vinyl hand a little bit farther out. Yeah, exactly. You want to get away from that habit. Try slow at first. Try slow at first. Try slow at first so you can master it. Exactly. Divot what the. So it should be. Exactly. So divot what the divot what the divot what the divot what the. Sick. And I'll show you what that looks like. Let me see. The Chinmachine, so that one's right here. That looks like this. What you just did looks like this. Well, that's the 2-click one, not the, because you were just doing 3 clicks just now. But this is what it looks like with 2 clicks, like dibba what the da, dibba what the da, dibba what the da. So that's with like 2 clicks on it, right? So it makes.
You know what's crazy about this?
Uh-huh.
I watched your tutorial and I was like, there's no way in hell I can do that.
And now you do it. Exactly.
And you got me to do it.
Exactly. And now you can do it. Now you just got to be able to speed it up and be able to master it more. You know, it's a little sloppy, but you got it. You know, you got all these things. You got the basic concepts. So now you can go and practice those. And then, you know, if you want another.
And I was saying to myself, I wonder what the pattern would sound like on a scratch sample.
Okay, like a drum pattern. So you're saying converting drum patterns into scratch patterns.
Yeah, like you're doing the same clicks just on a sample.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely convert the patterns. You know, and that's the thing is too is it's good to be able to do these things in your head too, because the fact that you saw that tutorial video, I think actually helps you learn that one scratch, that Chinmachine scratch, even faster. Because it's like if you were around, it's like if somebody's trying to learn English and they hear people that are speaking English around them all the time, it's going to be much easier for them to learn. So the fact that you heard that video already, you know, you picked that up really quick. Like, you picked that up fast. You know, it took me a while to figure out the Chinmachine scratch. Like, I was like, you know, it took me a while, but...
Yeah, but I only picked it up because of how you got me there.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what notation's about. Once somebody figures out the notation for a particular scratch, then it's a lot easier to learn it. And so with all those scratches in the Matrix, or all the different Matrix series, most of them have never been done. I would say as far as recordings, there's only been like, maybe 80 different scratches ever recorded. Maybe 100 different types of scratches. There's, because I got like over 62 tutorials on one, but I've dropped about 65 maybe different scratches. And Qbert has a really good video. It's called Encyclopedia Britannica. You need to check that out. Because when I made the Matrix, I was studying that. Well, yeah, it's like you could get the DVD. A lot of the videos are on the internet, broken up in little pieces. But it's a video that they made that was really dope, and it was basically like just a lot of different scratches. A lot of them that are on the Matrix. Most of the scratches in that are in the Matrix.
Right. But bro, I want to say thanks to everything. I just want you to do one thing for me. Can you send me in a message what we did today?
Oh yeah. I'll send you the message. Yeah, everything that we did, and I'll send you links too, because most of everything that we did, I pretty much have covered in a video before. So I'll send you what we did and the videos. Word, man.
I spent a couple of weeks practicing this, and I want to book another session.
Exactly, man. Yeah, just hit me up, man. Whenever you want a session, just let me know. Word, man.
No, we're going to have a few sessions.
Exactly.
I really appreciate this.
Yeah, and it's great to hear, brothers in the Caribbean doing next level stuff. Right now, you might be the greatest scratcher in the whole Caribbean, seriously, because my homie from Cartagena is pretty sick. My homie, one of my former students, Walter Skratch. He goes by Walter Skratch out of Cartagena, but he's just dropping kind of same Herbie Hancock. The DXT. Like he can military scratch. He pretty much can just like military scratch and maybe stabs and some forwards and maybe some tears and stuff. But his scratch vocabulary is limited. But the fact that you're doing a Chinmachine scratch and you're doing 4 clicks and you're doing all this stuff, that puts you at a super high level.
Yeah, but the thing with me is, remember, like I'm a party DJ at heart. So So anything I learn, I won't lie, it's really hard to do it. Anything I learn, I want to be able to translate, because Caribbean people party very different to how foreigners party. Like, they don't really want to hear very much scratching, unless you can make it really rhythmatic and make it like it had to be part of the song. So like you have to translate everything into an instrument, and then because of how the radio culture is, you have to be very precise and to the point. Like there's a fine thin rope you have to walk on and balance.
Yeah, but see also, so you how often do you spin?
I have an event Friday.
Oh, every Friday. Okay, dope.
I stayed away from DJing for a year last year, but I used to be in the clubs every weekend. But I started to get disgusted in the way I sing. Other people think I'm great, but I don't.
So we're back. So what are you saying?
Like just how you explained this to me here. This.
That other 4 click, yeah.
Like just being able to modulate
the
different rhythms and understanding, okay, so this is a Chinmachine and then this goes to this. And that's
exactly
changing rhythm.
Exactly.
When I heard it, I couldn't understand how you were looking like your hand doing the same thing, but songs keep on changing.
Right.
So like when you do, when you do like 3 versions, like 3 things back to back, while maintaining the same BPM, in my brain I was like, how? So what I liked about how your approach is, you could do very straightforward scratches without amplitude and accenting, and you get different rhythms. And if I'm a DJ and I can figure it out, the average listener wouldn't understand why they're liking what they hear now.
Exactly. They just think it's part of the beat or something. That's why I was showing those modulation ones too, where it can just get, that's the type of stuff that gets people hype when you do those where it sounds like a sound effect where it's like da 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 da, and it's like, so, especially if it's a song that has a build up or whatever,
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I think for my scratch drills, I'm gonna learn the scratch and then I'm gonna practice the modulation on each one and see what I come up with.
Exactly. And also I was saying too, make sure that when you're practicing, you don't practice too long. Like I wouldn't practice over 20 minutes, over 25 minutes, because after a while it just wears out your arm. It's better to have like a fresh arm, because it's better to be like, hey, I just practiced 20 minutes today, the next day 15 minutes, because in that 15 minutes, maybe the first 3 minutes are a warm up, but then that other, 12 minutes you're practicing. But then after a while, if you go beyond all that time, if you go beyond 25 minutes, then your arm might start to get tired, and then if you're practicing with a tired arm, then your brain is, that's what I realized, you don't want your brain to be learning when it's not optimal, when your body's not working at optimal. Like, so if your arm is tired and your wrist is out of like, energy or whatever,
Right. Practice.
Yeah, so it's better to, so that's why it's better to do 20 minutes every day than.
Can I practice
Practice a what? You say what?
Can I practice multiple sessions?
Oh, I didn't hear that last part.
20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening.
Wait, you said multiple what? I didn't hear that part. You said multiple.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can I practice 20 minutes in the morning and then 20 minutes in the evening?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's better to do that than to practice 40 minutes in the morning, because then your brain, it's like, oh, you have time to recuperate. Your muscles have a time to, because I notice, like, if I haven't, so sometimes I'll wait. I won't scratch for 2 days, and then I'll start practicing some fast scratching, and I'm faster than I was 3 days ago because my body's all rested up. So, if you want to achieve your peak speeds, that's what I noticed. So yeah, so that's why I would say it's better to break up 20 minutes than to do 40 minutes, because I only do 40 minutes if I'm like recording a tutorial, but usually I'm just practicing here and there, and also because if you're trying to get the crowd involved too, as long as you're doing these things with like vocal samples, people will freak out. Like, because if you do these scratches, all these scratches that with like what is it you mostly spin? What kind of stuff? What do you spin?
In Trinidad, we spin hip hop, soca, dance.
Okay, cool. And what's your DJ name?
We play everything.
What's your DJ name?
I'll use a sample.
I'll say what?
Huh?
Your DJ name?
Oh, David868. DJ David868.
DJ David what? 868?
I can see what you mean. Like, if I take a snap.
Well, you said DJ David868?
Yeah.
868.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, DJ David868. Word. Okay. Yeah. Dope. Yeah, man, you're killing it. And as far as club DJs are even, people that are getting paid usually get lazy. And it's good to see you being like, hey, I'm getting paid, but I'm not, I want to be sharp. I want to be on some next level stuff. That's really sick. That's dope. And you gotta record those mixes. I want to hear that. I want to hear, if you're dropping live sets and you're dropping these cuts in it, that's crazy. Because people aren't doing that.
I actually, yeah, that's true. That's like an angle. Like, this sample, for example, I think I could do it.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Exactly, Old Town Road.
Yeah, you can take like samples like that now.
Exactly.
I have to have better control before I can do that first though.
Exactly. But yeah, you can.
I need to be able to do it.
Right. Exactly. And you can start with those modulation ones too. Those modulations are real are because a lot of times people aren't hearing all the details, and obviously they're not going to be able to really tell or know the difference between like a 4-click and a 2-click. But all those modulation buildups and stuff like that. People notice the buildups and stuff a lot more, it seems. Exactly.
Yeah, what I need to do is and that's why I asked you what you do with your platter hand, because I need to be each increment you make in a movement, you hear it, and I don't have that precision, so I need to get that precision.
Totally. Exactly.
Bro, well, thanks for everything.
Word.
I'll look out for the message on Facebook.
Cool, man. Yeah. And your DJ name again is DJ David868?
868, yeah. The number is 868.
Good, okay. Yeah, let me write that down. Word. I'll write that down.
Yeah, 868. That's the international code for Trinidad.
Oh, okay. Sick. Okay. Word. Yeah.
That's where I came.
Yeah, we gotta get up, man.
Everybody, Yeah, everybody. We keep in contact.
Exactly, we gotta get up and send me a video too of you going over some beats, scratching. Definitely, like to.
Yeah, after. When I finish the metronome exercises.
Exactly. Yeah, the metronome. Yeah, start off slow and build up. Exactly.
Yeah, that will probably be about 3 weeks from now, though.